Communication in marriage. How do we communicate in marriage? Do we talk to each other or talk at each other? Welcome to the Save My Marriage show, where we go raw to talk about matters marriage. I'm here today with the amazing people, and I'd like to introduce first my wife, beautiful wife. And before that, my name is Anthony Bwana. I'm a pastor, and I love myself and I love my wife. But here today we are with the Liz and the Bwanas. So I'll introduce my wife. I'll let you guys hear her voice.
Hi, everybody. Vivian Bwana, of Mrs. Bwana, of Mr. Bwana.
Yes.
What Bibi ya Bwana.
Yes.
I'm a pastor, I'm a counselor, I'm a show host.
Yes.
Why do we
By the way, we forgot.
and I'm co-founder Code.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice to be here.
Hey, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Nessie Lee. I am the CEO and founder of Lubai Organics. And as she just said, we are recently TV show hosts.
Yes.
We embrace it.
Yes.
Yes. Over to you, good-looking man.
What's up, guys? I'm Alvin Lee. I'm a husband to this amazing madam here next to me. And I'm also a fitness coach and nutritionist. Everything body, everything being healthy, I'm the guy. And I'm happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And again, I'm your host for today, Anthony, or King Papatosh, as they
King
normally
Papa
call me.
Dosh.
And we're here at Highlands Suits Hotel in Kilimani, ready to talk about communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything communication. Raw,
Communicate.
like let's talk.
Makasiriko.
And I just want to ask today, how are we communicating in marriage?
Yeah.
Are we still having the good vibes that we had before marriage? You know, you're hitting on, yeah. But then, how are we communicating in marriage?
Can I go first?
Yes, Alvin, you
first.
can go.
It's in marriage that I learned I learned how much of a power communicator I am.
Wow.
Wow.
And most of it was
Wow.
affected because of my upbringing. You know, when you're growing up, who did this? It's you who did this. And when you speak out, they
Don't talk
believe
back
you.
at me.
Don't talk back, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I just shut up and I just keep it here.
Internalize.
It's funny that looks like one moment, but then it piles up and that's who you become. Okay? And then as a man, it's always, you're looked at like a commander. You say,
Oh,
that's
yes,
it.
it's final.
Yeah. My communication was to portray myself as nothing.
Mean the
I'm mean. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the alpha.
I'm the G. I'm the alpha. Nothing hurts me, and I'm not supposed to also be vulnerable.
Wow.
Yeah.
All that happens, and so as you're communicating with Nessie at that time, she was my girlfriend. That's when I started noticing certain things, how she communicates and how I communicate, even how I communicate with my parents and how she communicates with her parents. Then I started actually now comparing and just being aware of the differences. And then now, once we now got married and we're now living in one house, because there are only two people.
Yes.
I told her something, she got it a different way. So it brought me to a point where I noticed that the way I communicate, I should make sure that my partner understands it the
what you're
way I
saying.
want.
The way you want.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the way she communicates, I should also understand it the way she wants. And at the same time, we keep talking, And that communication I should not undermine it. Even the smallest things should be aired out. Because before, that is small. I will assume she already knows that. My friend, assumptions are the key to the biggest arguments.
We're coming
In
there.
fact, let's not
We're
even
coming
go
there. This is what you have to
asked
say
what
about communication.
communication is.
Yes.
Communication is you speak and you also listen.
Listen.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
that's where people have you can't just be giving orders like you're the king of the universe. There has to be some listening as well.
Yes.
So I'm
That's
hearing
part
you,
of
but I need you to hear me as well.
Yes, yes.
But the thing is, communication in our bringing was so different.
Yeah.
Like even with our parents, there was no listening in it.
On their part?
So on their part, yes.
Yeah.
So most of the time, like authority was just, you're just receiving, you don't even understand why I did what I did. When I try to explain myself, it's being rude. Oh, I'm talking back to my parents. Oh, you know, shut up, get out of my sight. That was my mom. Like there was just no back and forth. It was just coming. I've told you, and I can't even explain to you why I can't do it. You see? So there was that, and then also their personalities also come into us. Like for me, my people are very confrontational in a good way. Like if there's a problem, we're going to deal with it now so that we move on.
Yeah.
So Alvin on the other side was the let me process it inside. I will see how to deal with it later. Me, I was for listen.
Now.
Now or never. Like we're going to speak about it now. In the heat of it, in the thick of it, we're going to say, this is pissing me off because of this. And this is my proposed solution. So do this the next time this happens. Done. He will sleep on it.
Wow.
And I'd be frustrated. I'd be frustrated. I'm like, I know there's something wrong. I know we need to have a conversation, but you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Why are you sleeping?
Whoa.
How are you even sleeping?
Surprisingly, I wake up fresh
And I am waking up more pissed. Like, first of all, I struggle to fall asleep because I'm thinking of what you could be thinking.
Whoa.
And then when I finally fall asleep, I fell asleep like this, like with a frown on my face. I'm pissed. And then he wakes up, he's moving on with his life, and I'm like,
how?
is it that finished? What is happening? You don't feel like there's something incomplete here?
Wow,
So there was that was a really big problem for us, like at the beginning. And we had to meet somewhere in between. So I realized, for me, it's talk now or nini. For him, he needs time. So I was like, how much time? Because it can't be for sleeping.
Exactly.
It can't be
2
for...
days, 3 days.
You will not interrupt my sleep, by the way.
Yes, I think
need to
that
sleep
even,
light.
that even causes other situations.
Exactly.
That come with what do you have to say, my wife?
I think
Are you scared?
My wife, yes.
I think for the longest time, first of all, how communication is done, number one, we come from a very loud family. We are loud. We are not quarreling you, we are just loud. And then we are also very expressive. So we use our hands and our feet when we talk. And so that also plays a part. So if you don't know us really well, you will think we are quarreling you. But in actual sense, we are just
Expressing.
We are just communicating. So in our house, you come and find my mom is talking with her hands flared up and I'm responding with my hands flared up. Someone from the outside will think, what fire is happening there? And probably all we are talking about is ingredients of a particular food. And so there's that kind of communication. And then there's communication that is affected by perception. Right? And so I am going through something, and so no matter what you tell me, it's coming through some filter.
What you really...
And so if you tell me, I love you, I'm going through something, my question would be, what does he want?
Is it cause?
Wow.
You get, and so there's whole perception happening. And so communication is not happening if all these things are not put in place. Like there has to be an understanding that are we communicating? Because then if we are not, there are so many factors that we need to put out of the picture first, then say we are communicating. But it's been, honestly speaking, I think it's been a journey for us. Understanding one another. I don't know what you mean. So you're coming with me, I'm coming with my loudness and how we need to, even when we sort things, we need to be loud and throw hands. He is more, think about process on the inside.
More of a court.
Like
setting.
Court setting, think, me, I don't know those things. We are just like, brah.
It came
exactly. Blah, 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 blah. And then because I'm an external processor, I just want to process it there as it's happening, and then I'll figure out if I was right or wrong at the end
future.
But I think communication is one of the most important.
Paramount.
Pivot.
It's everything.
It is. I think as you're talking, you just see how, and sometimes this happens, that you realize that you are an outward processor, but then you're meeting someone who is the opposite. Now something happens when now the opposite now begins to be almost an outward processor. Because what happens in marriage, we accommodate each other. And so I come with something, you come with something. I begin studying you because we're living together in one place. And then I start trying to work with or build on something that works for you. But then sometimes it changes, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I think, are we all agreeing that communication is a fundamental thing that basically needs a proper check from our background, because I think everything you guys are saying is almost coming from the place of how we were raised and how we were communicated. That is where we got the notion of talking to each other or one another. Because my dad would draw, and it's final.
There's no discussion.
So there was no listening, and so it was so hard for us to listen before speaking. You would even be told, keep quiet. Like you asked a question, you were told, keep quiet.
How do I answer?
So I think it was messed. Somehow there's that place of our growth or our childhood that spoiled the understanding of the whole notion of communication. But now this now becomes different because we're in the same house with my wife. Family is not there.
It's not there.
It's myself and my wife. But then we can be silent to each other for a week.
Wait. Dangerous.
So now that we are two, should it be even much easier for us to communicate?
It should be.
So what are the reasons? What how do you see this? Does it happen to you guys? I just want us to let's just hear the experiences of how this situation happens, because these are the things that leads to, it starts from assumptions and then silence treatments, and then it's way long, and then it messes everything else within community.
With this communication comes conflict resolution, because that is what makes communication pop up the most.
Yep.
Because of conflict resolution. I don't know. These are one of the first things I actually talked to Nessie when we were still courting, and I was still putting her in my box. Lock the key and throw, lock the padlock and throw the key. I told her, wow, I love the way you
Express.
say what you know. Because in my previous relationships, my friend, a week has gone.
No communication.
With Nessie, it was there, and you'll tell.
Finish it.
And for me, I'm expressive on my face. I cannot hide. If something is wrong, and I think that's why Attila is my friend. You can just tell something is wrong, you know. And I told her, like, I love that you actually talk about it then, because silence it's communication in itself.
Silence is communication.
But then you do not want to leave the mind idle, because an idle mind is a
devil's workshop.
And in marriage, that is dangerous, because you're seeing your quiet partner, but they're on phone. You will absolutely be stupid, because you now have to start, who are they talking? Why? Blah, blah, blah. Then what that silence brings is other things
that are not
even supposed.
Exactly.
And it actually makes you realize, oh wait, we did not actually talk about that, because of course there's silence. Things are just piling up and piling up. Yeah, those are the things that I noticed. Oh, okay, communication now in marriage, even if it's something small, please speak. Because for myself personally, I shut up because I used to shut up, or I'm actually still a work in progress. Because I didn't want to. You see, when I'm talking, I don't want to say I'm complaining, because I come from a background whereby if you talk a lot, you're complaining. Be satisfied with what the issue is and all the stuff. So I did not want to show that, oh, I'm over complaining and not. She will say, I don't like how that looks. Blah, now just say, man, this is what we have. Just say, this is what we have.
No, we can change
Be
it.
understanding.
No, I understand, but I don't like it.
Yes, so
That's
for me,
the
when
thing.
she expresses herself that way, I'm like, man, you can't see the situation. Wow. This is what we have, you know?
Babe, stop.
No, as in it's different mindsets because of different backgrounds. But there's that clash in between. So I have to understand that, okay, she will always have something to say about something. I can have something to say, but just shut up. Okay. Yeah. And I just shut up.
Speak my mind.
Yes.
Yeah. You see?
I will speak my mind, and
That
you
is
will
true.
know exactly what I want.
And also, this has also been something I also watched from my father. He could keep quiet. Keep quiet. It's so much of upbringing, genetics, and everything. Keep quiet. Then one time, he just tells you everything you've been doing in the house, and be like, wait, this guy goes to work. How does he know all these things? And I become straight as soon as possible. And so that became me. Actually noticed in marriage, that's when you notice how much of your father or how much of your mother
you picked.
are.
Yes, so much that you
a
picked.
lot, and it's just shelved. Then marriage brings it to light.
Yes.
That is so true. In fact, those are the things we should talk about, like when you decide to talk about in-laws.
Yes.
So when I met my in-laws, things fell in place. Like, oh,
Like,
no
oh, yes.
wonder. Kumbe, it's in the genes. Yeah. So it gives you like another level of understanding and patience with this person.
Yes.
So you know that the dad talks passionately. So Alvin will talk passionately, and I'm like, bro, chill.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not speaking to a monkey. I am
But
right
then
here.
she'll express passionately.
I'm just here. Just say it. Volume, bring it down. And then he's a coach, so it makes it worse. So he's always like, I tell him he's coach volume. It's like always up there, so it's coming. I'm telling, okay, just calm down.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what do you mean?
Oh,
yes. So if he's still up there, I'm just like, we can't have this. We'll talk
Yes,
later.
yes.
When
Whoa,
coach is
yeah,
gone, we'll
yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
So there was that, and then there's the I was going to say an important point.
It's okay.
But assumptions, yes.
Assumptions, yeah.
Assumptions. So when you have this silent treatment that you're talking about, you give so much room for assumptions. Yeah,
Yeah.
you build the castle of
Yes,
Dubai.
yes.
So that's like, probably that's why this happened.
Yes.
But you remember this, and then this, then even your exes start coming up. You're like, now
Yeah.
you start
Where
building
they
the
come.
future. You're like, oh my God, we'll end up just divorcing.
Yes.
Oh, because of this small thing is going to grow. You know, that kind of, it will go to my children. By the way, I have that thing. I'm going to rebuke it. This is not passing beyond here. Generational curses broken.
Wow.
That kind of thing. So yeah, communication is important. That silence, kill it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I think it's also, how long do you want this silence to be? How long do you want it to be awkward? So if you want it to be 3 days, 3 days it is.
Yeah.
If it's 4 hours, 4 hours it is. But it takes someone being mature enough to step in and be like, okay, we need to talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Vivian,
Yeah.
what do you have to say about this?
I think the thing about silent treatment is it gives a false impression that you have power.
Power.
Oh yes.
So when you're doing your whole silent treatment to your partner, it makes you feel like you have a sense of authority.
Yes,
When
yes.
in actual sense you're actually losing the battle because your partner has no
Idea
Yeah.
why
What's
you're
happening.
silent.
So
Yeah.
you are in a war, you're in
Alone.
a war all by
Very
yourself, and you have fought it, and my friend, you have gone with that war.
Wow.
And that is the sad part about silent treatment.
Yeah.
Then by the time you're coming back, the wars you have fought in your head,
We're
Yeah.
not even worth it.
and your partner is
They're
on
not.
a whole another level.
true.
You're coming back, this one has a different war in their head, this one has a different war in
Yes.
their
Wow.
head.
Yes.
And so when you're bringing it to the table, you are exploding nothingness.
Yeah.
War.
It's
This
true.
is war, like, this
Just-
war, this
just-
happened, they're just like, when, how, how? And that is exactly what silent treatment does.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then you're
yes.
thinking, let him learn.
Oh wow.
There's nothing is
being
learning.
learned.
Nothing being learned. There's nothing.
That's why it's important to bring it up immediately.
Exactly.
So that even if we're going to talk about it later, we
Yes.
have like a headline of what we're going to talk about.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, yes.
So it's like, I don't like that you talked about that shelf.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
get
And
to
then
know
I will
what's
bring it
happening.
up
I think
later.
it's amazing. We're actually talking about a non-verbal kind of situation because it almost
Yeah.
looks like we've solved the verbal conversation, sort of, but then there's the non-verbal kind of situation. And I think as let's just take a break for this and go back deeper and just have a conversation on how do we deal with confrontation.
Yeah.
Because you notice that your partner can confront and maybe you can't. Like, I think this would help us to understand
Yeah.
the place of verbal and non-verbal communication situation or solution to. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Save My Marriage show, and we are here with the Lee Bwanas. It's amazing. We're talking about communication, and actually before we went on a break, it was just more of a conversation of getting to see the place of communication, non-verbal and verbal. But then we're just getting deep to understand now the place of confrontation. Because there's how we get to deal or see this situation best when we begin knowing our partner's confrontation ways or who is stronger in that and how do we build on that. I think it's a good conversation. What do you guys think? Let me start with Vivian.
Let me tell you, when I got married, this one, honestly, my husband is he knows how to deal with things.
Yes.
But then in our marriage, let me tell you right now, please be aware that he's the more mature one. He's the one who has the most wisdom, like, he's very wise. And so for me, coming into marriage, I was king and queen of silent treatment. And so for the longest time, I'd be offended.
Yeah.
And then I'd pull my silent treatment and have my wars in my head. And in this whole time, I'm expecting him to suffer and do something and fix something that he has no idea what he's supposed to fix. So one of the things I have come to learn from him, and honestly, is the fact that even in situations, he will always ask me, are you okay? Have I done something wrong? That was very strange for me because then you're taking away my power. You're making me useless. Like I can't use this thing anymore because if you ask me, then that means I have to respond.
Yes.
And if I say nothing, then that means I've just been foolish this whole time. So I have to have a reason, right?
Yes.
And so every time he would come and be like, have I done something wrong? And I'd pull a...
No. Yeah. Yes.
I feel so defenseless at that point, and I'm like, well, this is foolish. This is foolish. And then one way or another, I have to find a way of bringing it up now on my own, which makes me look foolish. It's foolish. Now I come back. Okay, fine. So this happened. This happened. But then with time, I have come to realize that it's no longer, because now I put the expectation on him to be the one to be doing it. Because me, I'm king of silent treatment and queen. Kingdom is my kingdom. And so I put a lot of expectation that he is always the one to do that. And so one day he comes to me and he has this conversation and says, honey, you know, I can't always be the one doing this. I can't always be assuming you're not fine. I can't always be the one just walking on eggshells. I don't know if I've done something wrong. I need to know. And ever since that time, of course it's work in progress. I'm now being deliberate about being able to say, hey, I feel like when this happened, I got offended. It made me feel this and this and this type of thing. Now, the way of confronting is also a style and a
Healthy confrontation. Yes.
You don't go like, acha ufala Buddha. Wakasirika kama unamuita bro
Nini brother?
But then there has to be a way you do it with honor,
Yeah.
without offending the other person. Because again, remember, you're a team. You're always a team. So it's you against that thing. It's not him against you or you against him. And so we are looking at this thing objectively and saying, okay, this thing has affected us. Why did it affect us? How do we need to handle it better? And so for confrontation, for me, it looked like something happened, and then I have to say, hey, babe, I feel like I'm not okay with this thing. I'm not so sure why I'm not okay with it. Please give me like maybe 10, 20 minutes. I just process it and see what this means, and then we'll get back. Or it looks like, hey, listen, right now I am so angry at you. I'm so angry, I don't want to say something I'm going to regret. Please give me some time. I just need to be calm so that then I can have a sober discussion. This does not mean I'll take 70 weeks. No. Apana. Nowadays you have to put a timeline. Otherwise you're giving room for the enemy to come. Put in all these other rules. And so now I'm deliberate about saying, hey, we need to have a conversation. Sometimes it may not be that beautiful. It's not always this composed. Again, we are passionate people.
Emotional.
And if you are passionate, chances are also you're angry. So
Exactly.
And so now there are moments when you're so angry. And you look at this person and you ask the Lord, is this what you gave me? Of all the people on the earth, this one. And then now you have to think about how am I expressing. He needs to know. Like in such circumstances, you're just like, please, just give me time. But you have to be careful about the words that are coming out of you. Because there are sometimes words that you say.
You can't go back.
You can never take back.
It's true.
It's true. Never take back. Yeah.
That's very good.
Wow.
3 important things that Vivian has said. Starting with the check-in. What's up? Even if there's nothing wrong, just constant checking in. So how are you? Like for real, how are you? Maybe something is stressing him at work. That's why he has that face. So you're thinking that you're the one.
It's about you, yeah, exactly.
So there is that check-in. And then when someone initiates the check-in, when you ask me the question, please let me speak about it. Like give me the opportunity. Because you asked, maybe they bring it to you. So let me speak it until if I'm an external processor, let me process it until I reach my moment. And then when I approach you with, okay, we've had an issue, and I want to bring it up and I want to ask you questions.
Mm.
If you're going to be defensive, don't start the conversation.
Yeah.
Because then now you
Yes.
irritate the other person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like, no, even me, I didn't know, it's you. No.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
If you're not going to explain to me how you felt, what happened,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then you're not ready to have the conversation.
Oh yeah.
And the third thing is, now, this is how my parents brought me up in confrontation.
Mm.
It's like counseling, how you ask a question
Mm.
until you lead them to how you're feeling
Yes,
and how your answers make sense to them. Like, walk me that journey.
Yes.
Like, just tell me, okay, so how did that make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
I was really irritated because this. Then you realize you'll end up talking about things that were in your past.
Oh yeah.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Kumbe, it's not even him. It's
Mhm.
just something that had been going on for so long. And then you bring it up and say, oh, okay, now he understands you.
Yeah.
Now he understands why you eat the apple and you leave the middle part, or you eat the whole apple and you leave the stem. Now you get to understand.
Alvin.
Like, kumbe, someone threw an apple at him when he was a kid. And he
They're not
decided
talking about
So, okay. We need to confirm.
to eat someone who eats apples like that. By the way.
Okay, you don't know.
As long as
It's not you.
None of your business. None of it.
Yeah, so that's really important.
Yes.
Constant check-ins and
Yes.
just not being defensive and listening.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I came in a mess. That's what I'm going to just say. Because a lot of my upbringing was brought into light in my marriage. First of all, she talks about assumptions. In my upbringing, I'm a firstborn. Who did this is obviously Alvin.
Alvin.
And it wasn't me. And I was
Oh, yeah.
beaten for so many things I've never done.
Are you siblings paying back? They better be.
I
Oh,
So, if I see around that tone of communication that is coming from my mother in her, instantly shut off.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yes.
And that's why I
Maybe
say-
you know that tone.
I'm not sure.
He told me later, but at that time I didn't know that I have a tone. I was just like, babe, why is this here? To him, that's a tone. Where remove this thing? You know.
Now, that's a tone of, for me, how I used to interpret it is, me, I'm stupid.
Yeah,
Put that-
exactly.
First of all, I want you to say, who put it? Did anyone
We are
put
two
it?
people. It was not me.
No,
Let me have a
no.
ghost.
So I would prefer, you see, like, because of where I'm coming from, I would prefer a person tells me, babe, I do not remember.
I've
putting
noticed,
this
yes.
here. Are you the one who did it? But then it will always come with,
The backlash.
now who put this
Yeah.
here? And that now
Who
who
did
put this
this?
here
Yeah.
is me.
Oh wow.
Obviously. And again, my head will just go back to how we're human beings,
It's
even
true.
animals. What we remember the most is how you felt.
Yeah.
And that is why when whatever she says makes me feel a certain way, I'll relate to my childhood and to just bring back the
The
people
little boy.
in
Oh
my
wow.
childhood.
Oh
And
yes.
how I felt at that way. And that's why I was a boy in charge of my own happiness. I will make myself laugh, play alone, live like
Creating your joy.
yeah. And
Creating your
no, as in I will be myself,
Oh, yeah.
independent and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And you accuse me, go ahead. Actually, even my sister, it's the same thing happened to her. You can accuse her, and she'll look at you like this and not even defend herself.
Oh, wow.
Because she knows she won't be hurt. Because that
The other
happened.
side. I learned in reverse. Like my parents would be those don't talk back, but I was like, okay. When I get the opportunity to defend myself this time,
Yeah, you will.
You will know it
Yeah.
from head to toe. I have an opinion and I will be heard. So that's how I was expecting him to be. So that we talk properly.
So that's what happened. But then as I grew up into a teenager, from 1, from 2, Nini, then I started becoming, like now, we're fighting here. Now I'm coming defensive. So that was the only way I could now get my point across. I have to come defensive.
You have to
So I
fight for
brought-
it.
Yeah, I used to fight for my side. And that's what I brought into marriage.
Oh wow.
And then Ness is like, you're always defensive, always
Just
defensive,
calm down.
always defensive. Now I'm learning that. Then again, learning, I would say we're still a work in progress.
Oh, wow.
But for that confrontation, things that I picked from our side is how you feeling. The same way she also does. How you feeling? And I now learned the best way to make my confrontation or my communication easy is cutting by. even this is how I felt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you cannot say, when you did this is how I felt. But it will always come slow, and then the rest follows.
That's awesome. That's basically brave communication and healthy confrontation in two. And seeing that, I think that is one of the things that help us match in marriage. But then there's still the notion of when you're coming into marriage, you're not all perfect.
Yes, that's true.
And also the time you're dating, the kind of communication is different from that, because there's so much that is hidden, masked, and then now you're coming to a situation where you're becoming so real with this person, and then you're living with this person, and also you're growing. How we were in marriage in our first year is not how we are right now. So things change, and even how we communicate, even if you're improving, we should almost look like we're almost still learning it and mastering our partners, and again building the place of relationship. And I don't know how, there's this point also that I think, let me be vulnerable on this. My wife would say, initially, she would say sorry for something that she has not done. And me growing up, my dad used to be more of, like, he would ask, what happened? Why did this happen? He will never punish you without getting to the bottom of the matter. But then we would have a conversation with my wife, and then she would throw in a sorry. And I'm like, what is this sorry for? Because already is a miscommunication. There's something that you're saying that is amazing, but then it's not for that part. So can we go back and dig down to this conversation, to this situation, and look at where was the problem, so that now your sorry fits in the right place. You know, because you will argue and then you're like, pole bus. We throw it out there, but then it kills it. And so the next time, the other partner will begin being quiet.
That's true.
And then after that, you expect to do other things in marriage and expect every other thing to continue. That's how we kill the vibe in our bedrooms.
And make sex boring.
Exactly. And then we try to make sex in such situation an non-verbal communication where you just meet the person and you just want to do whatever you want to do, and you're out. So it almost looks like a communication that we create non-verbally, because there's a situation and you guys cannot face it, and so it messes up the room. I don't know if you guys are seeing that.
It's not even solving the problem, you're just shelving it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And then it's messing, it's messing the whole idea of what sex is in a marriage. And it's amazing that we had talked about this before.
Let me tell you, that is so important. Like, why are you saying sorry? Do you understand why you're saying sorry? And secondly, what tone are you using to say sorry? So
Yes.
I don't care.
Yes.
Do whatever you want. That conversation is not over. Because you're just saying sorry to end the conversation. You've not been heard. The other person could be satisfied with your sorry bus, but you've not been heard.
Exactly.
So it's very important to know the tone. My mom always says you have to speak to each other softly.
Oh yes, I think that's actually a huge part to talk about. I think we need to get deeper into this, but just let's go on a break shortly, and let's come back and talk about this matter of tones, because I think that any tone, a silent tone is a tone, and a high tone is a tone. So let's come back after the break and just discuss this more. Yes. Welcome back to the Save My Marriage show. We're here at Highland Suites having an amazing time. This place is cozy. This place is warm, you know. And as couples, I think this is an amazing place to always book, because it has everything that you need. Very interesting view and all that, you know. So take your time and figure out if you really you're in that season where you need to build and save your marriage in a situation. And so today we're talking about communication, and it's getting hot here. I think we have just started scratching the surface of why do we use specific tones in specific situations? Could it be these are things that were affected within our upbringing and as we were growing up? And so we just want to get into situations, even real situations, where this has been an issue in marriage, because communication, as we had said, is a fundamental thing that we need to talk about. So I just want to hear from, it was actually Mrs. Lee. that was telling us about the tone situation, and I think
Yes,
let's
the
hear
tone.
from you. Yes.
So I feel like tones come in seasons and like different situations.
Mm-hmm.
So the tone I use at this time is not the same at that time, you know. So like when you're going through hardships, everything is very intense. Like, there's that boot camp season in marriage.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Finances are not cooperating with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just like a boot camp, and you go through the thick of it. Like now Corona, let's take Corona 2020 for example.
Yeah.
Like things were hard for everyone. There was that transition.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, my mom told me, you need to, at this time when things are thick like this, you need to learn to speak softly to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because your tone
That's good.
can make the word so heavy.
Exactly.
Like, it might not even be what you meant.
Yeah.
But how you said it
Mm-hmm.
could pierce someone. Yani, if I say something like a joke like, you're not all that.
Mhm.
You're not all that. You know, those are different tones. Like it hurts differently. So that's very important. Like your tone when you're confronting someone,
Mm-hmm.
very important.
Oh,
Don't,
wow.
Yes.
don't talk when you're all up here.
Yeah.
Let's calm down. Let's speak. You speak, I listen, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That tone also reminds me of another point, which is tone with intention of what you're communicating.
Yep.
Because I don't like this in marriage. It's not a game. It's not like I'm trying to set you up by saying I'm saying this, but I actually mean something. Leave that in
Okay.
before marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, your intention has to be very, very clear when you're having the tone, you know. And what I've been working on myself in this marriage is to always be calm 24/7.
Oh, yes.
Because I'm already a passionate guy. Once when story may come out, I'll speak. We'll see veins. Actually, I thought I was mad. I have a friend who is even worse. Anyway, but then when it comes to being mad, because of my upbringing, I used to see poisonous words coming out when you're up there, and that is why, in my defense,
In your
You've started.
yes, and that's why sometimes I need a minute. That what I'm working on
Oh, yeah.
is I need this amount of time and actually saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also what I've noticed is that once you actually say it, you forget about it.
then.
Oh,
then,
yeah.
that's the point.
Yes.
Then so that brings the point of you have to handle it as fast as possible before it goes up. But yeah, tone is very, very important, and the intention
It's true.
of which
Yeah, communication and intention, like being intention of if there's a situation or if there's no situation, whatever you want to communicate at the moment that you want to have that interaction, that relation, we need to be very intentional about it. I want to communicate this to her. Is she in the right place, in the right, you know, I need to also figure all that out, because that's how we again build on how we bravely confront. Yes. Vivian?
I think if, I want to piggyback on
Yes.
what
Mhm.
Alvin was saying
Mhm.
in terms of intention. Like, what is your intention even when you're confronting?
Yes,
Mhm.
Is your intention to put down your partner?
Yeah.
Or is your intention actually trying to prove your rights?
Yes.
Or is
Mhm.
your intention actually trying to solve an issue?
Mhm.
And then, for me, one of the things that has communication is a skill.
Yes,
Let's
it is.
agree.
a skill.
Yep.
Communication is a skill.
Yep.
What?
And because of how we have been brought up in our different backgrounds, we are all picking up things about communication everywhere we go.
Mm-hmm.
You get employed, you figure out here, they say, in the previous email as indicated above.
Pick it.
Pick it and go to the next place. As indicated above, there you find we don't do as indicated
Yeah.
above.
You restate.
You restate.
Yes.
And so you pick up all these things. And so the important thing is discovering yourself and
Yes.
how you communicate.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
How
yes.
do you communicate
Yes.
as a person? Your sorry bus that we were talking about the other time. One of the things I realized growing up as I started to discover who I am
Yes,
as a
yes,
person,
yes.
I realized I am so afraid of confronting. I didn't like confronting. I didn't like to be on the wrong. I always wanted to make things right. I always wanted to be on the right. I was always seeking peace anyway. And so I would forsake even
Your-
my right to defend myself or anything, just so
Just
that
for
we can
peace.
have peace.
But you cannot have internal peace.
Exactly. And so for me it would make more sense to just say sorry bus so that we just end this thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
I
Yes,
get
I'll be
what you mean,
offended
yes.
inside me. I'll feel like I've not been heard.
Very
But
true.
then for the sake of
There's no
peace,
confrontation.
at least there's no confrontation.
Yes.
I'll be mad, I'll handle my silent treatment, but then I'm poisoning myself
Yes,
inside. I'm
literally.
growing in bitterness inside. And so coming to a culture where I am learning that we need to actually, for you to have authentic And that is the key. Authentic marriage,
Yes.
authentic
Relationship.
friendship, authentic relationship.
Yes.
Then you have to be able to confront even the littlest
Very,
things
very
so that you
close.
don't give
Yeah.
any chance.
Yes.
And so now, not just sorry bus, but at the end of the day, I want to know, wait, where was the offense? Where was the actual
Yes.
offense so that we handle that?
Yes.
Let's rip it apart and see, okay, so this is where the issue
Yes.
is. So let's deal with that issue.
Yes.
And so if we choose to want to discover ourselves and learn who you are and the things that have affected you, then you have to be deliberate about how you want to communicate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that you're not bringing all this baggage from
Yes,
the past,
from the
from
past.
education,
Oh, yeah.
you're bringing it in.
Yeah.
And of course, with all our expectations that you're my partner, you're supposed to know we are one.
Yeah.
Let's just have it clear and clean. By the way, I know I don't like nowadays. Am I not the best?
You're amazing. You're amazing.
Nowadays, I don't even wait until like something happened. No. I'm not give it a chance. I need
Then,
to
then.
deal with it.
Yes,
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 let's
yes.
handle it there and
Yes.
then. And then if you find out that you don't understand the motive behind the confrontation,
Yes.
take time and think.
And
Take
think
time.
again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Think why.
Yeah.
Because then you have to sit down and ask yourself, where is this coming from? Why was it that when Tosh held somebody's hand, it made me feel? Why did it make me feel that way?
Yes.
Process it.
Yes.
Because you will find out maybe your ex did that and now
Yes.
you're projecting the
Yeah.
same
Exactly.
way. Then you're coming and shouting, yeah, go hold that person's hand. See, you go.
No.
You go hold
Go.
that hand. And then it was your own thing. So you're like, yeah, hapo tu anashangaa.
It's true.
What happened?
Oh,
What
yeah.
happened? We were just having a
And
wonderful
maybe you don't take one's hand, but this one girl.
This one girl, yeah.
What's happening? And so figure out, like, process within yourself and ask yourself, why is this thing offensive
Yeah.
to me? Where is it
Yes,
coming
yes.
from? And then even it will give you the courage to say, imagine, I know you were not flirting with that girl.
Yes.
However, because
This
of
is-
my past,
This
it
is
made
what.
me feel like this and this. And so when
Yeah.
you did that,
Wow.
it made me feel this way.
Yes, that's powerful.
Even the guy himself will be like, whoa, yeah, poor thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
come, let's
Exactly,
do
Then
yeah.
that's where now the maturity of apologizing comes in.
Comes in.
Because when you
Exactly.
apologize and you understand.
And
Like,
you
Yep.
understand.
Yeah.
honestly, that's not what I meant. I was not going to offend you.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I am
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Because now I understand how
Yeah.
you feel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I noticed something about communication, more so in marriage, it reduces gossip.
Ooh,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Because you find so if you find the woman speaking about your issues with her friends
Oh, yes.
and having
Oh,
outside
yes.
opinions in something they are not, and also the man speaking with the boys and the boys say, I told you.
I told you, women are like that. Oh, yeah.
Or they want Nairobi. Sisi. But if you always settle whatever it is through proper communication in your marriage, as I said, we forget.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately.
Oh, yeah.
What are you
True.
going to tell your people?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now your friends say you're boring now because you're no longer serving them your tea, my friend. Your business is
That's so good.
Yeah. So it reduces the
place of
people have
gossip.
to communicate instead of gossip.
I think again for me it still builds more in the place of our relationship. So
Yes.
how our relationships are built or how we continue working towards building the relationship in marriage, because that's something also that misses. We get into marriage and then now we start coexisting. You do your things, I do my things, you know. But then when things get heated and there is need for a confrontation or a conversation and we are supposed to talk about something, we will be talking at each other because we don't know each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and so that is a major part that we also need to check. So by the time you're self-checking yourself, how is your relationship? I know I might be doing something completely different from what my wife is doing, which apparently God helped us to actually meet, and almost everything that she does, I find my way in it.
Yeah.
But still, even if you're doing different things, get to build the relationship, because when the relationship is well built, well connected, then it's so easy to talk to the person. Because I have a relationship with I have a relationship with the person. So we keep talking that even if there's an issue, I'll talk to her just the same way I talked to her yesterday. And so it's so hard for us to notice a tonal situation, you know. And I understand we're humans. There are times we get emotional about something. And in fact, I think this is what we need to even go deeper into. When other people talk something about you or your marriage, and now it's not between the two, it's an external one. How do we handle that? Because we get into situations where maybe you had a situation with the girls and then you come home and you're silent.
Yes.
And the way your relationship with those people might not be the relationship that we have here. And so the way you'll respond, it will be just too different. Like it will be completely different. We won't be as easy as I knew you, you know. But then again, the place of relationship makes me realize there's something she was doing. Let me give her some time.
Yes.
She was meeting with someone. And so I'll start with, by the way, babe, how was your, you know. And so I think over time I've realized that questions are some of the things that begin helping us in the place of communication.
Yes.
And the questions come in when you ask yourself questions and then now ask out the questions. Because that's what will help you know how I want to ask this question, how will she handle it?
Yes.
With the place that she is. So let me start with something else. Let me ask about this. Let me ask about it. Now let me go to it.
Yes.
You know. And I feel like that for me has helped me solve so many issues. The place of asking questions. So you ask yourself questions, you know.
There's something that I got outside. Just communicating in marriage. My friend, as I said, the smallest things you have to communicate about. and
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
Communicating in a way that does not also make your partner embarrassed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly.
Weird in that cloth. How are you going to communicate that? You know?
Oh yes,
That
yes.
is another
Yes, wisdom, by the way.
It needs.
That's where the skill comes from.
That's
The skill and the relationship.
Yes.
I need to be so deep with her that I can tell her anything. Hey babe, there's something off with a breath or something.
Yes.
I need to figure out. We need to build a relationship. If we don't have it, I'll say it, and the next day you'll be out.
And I think I noticed that the smallest things.
Exactly.
What I learned was I'm a bachelor. I don't need to go home. I don't need to text anyone. Do I need to text that puppy? Oh, I'm coming home. But now in marriage, now because there's another person home, I say, oh, I'm coming home. I'm on my way home. Because it really matters
It's true.
to her.
It's true.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just used to being like Jesus appearing.
No, why we want you to tell us you're
It's
your
also
way coming
because they
home?
prepare.
Because then we prepare, you
Yes.
find the food
Oh,
hot.
yes.
Like if I
Yes,
wanted
yes.
to do something for you, I'm like, okay.
Yes,
So
yes,
that
yes.
we can straighten things out, make sure you're coming home, you're happy. You know, there's that.
But sometimes that can affect us from our past life. That if I'm to tell her, like for example, insecurities of maybe she was up to no good. Let me come and find you right in a pattern.
Oh yeah.
Red-handed.
Oh yeah.
Just insecurities also.
Communication is important.
Yeah,
It is.
communication.
You'll
It is.
find that everything we're discussing will all come to
Exactly.
Communication,
and your relationship.
finances,
Communication.
Exactly.
Expectations, reality.
And so I feel there is just that need of knowing exactly what we are supposed to, as a person, who are we, what are the backgrounds of how we understand these things. And I feel, let's just get a take home for everyone, from everyone. For everyone watching and from everyone. Alvin Lee.
Oh, me first.
Yes.
She's first.
Okay.
So my take home would be communication is really important. Let's start there. But most important is how you communicate. So
Yes.
figure out what works best for you. How well do you communicate with each other? If they prefer written letters, please write letters.
Please write.
If they want you to take them out so that you discuss those things out there, it stays there. That's an option. But you two have to figure it out for you guys. But communication has to happen. If it means smoke signal, it has to happen. Just communicate. Yeah.
Wow.
I would say honesty and trust